problem. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Bernard, for introducing me. Tonight I'm gonna show a few of my works and some short project that I did with the Leica Q2 Monochrom. I happen to have the camera to test like earlier this month in November, courtesy of Leica Store Jakarta. So Bernard said, I'm a documentary photographer. I worked since 2006. That's about 14, 15 years ago. I work for a major publication, international publication. But aside from my assignment, I also do personal projects that I pursue myself, that I initiate myself. And most of the projects, I do it in black and white. So black and white has been a major part in my photography life. I like black and white works from legendary photographers like Salgado, James Naquay, Eugene Smith, etc. So I'm very much influenced in black and white photography from early on. So I'm gonna share the first project. This is a short project that I did in 2009. It's called Diamond Dreams. I did this like in less than a week. It's about a day in the life of a young female photographer, young female boxer. Her name is Intan. So Intan is like Indonesian name for like diamond. So that's the title, Diamond Dreams. So I follow her for like 4 or 5 days, and I hang out in a gym, talk to her and to her colleagues, and basically just become fly on the wall and photographing her. So black and white, I choose black and white because like I said, I was heavily influenced by the work of legendary photographer who is a black and white photographer. But I also think that I work better in black and white. I tried color, but color is a bit complicated for me. A lot of people can do color very well, but for me, black and white is my language. So yeah, in this project I also do black and white, so I can really concentrate on the story of this young female boxer. So she was 16 years old, and she was just starting out to build her career from the bottom, and it was an all-female boxing gym, and she was one of the best. She was one of the best, and she had like 10 knockout in 15 fights. So she was definitely one of the rising stars. Oops. So yeah, I photographed her and her friends in like 4 or 5 days, and basically follow her around. In the first few days, basically they were just like intense because, oh, you know, there's a photographer, I should look fine. But as a documentary photographer, I know I have to pass that phase, and in the end, they just forget you. They just say, okay, he's gonna be here again, so you know, I just do whatever I want to do, right? And then that's when the pictures happen. You know, that's when the pictures happen. And the thing with black and white is you can concentrate to the moment. I mean, like, I can see beautiful colors and, you know, good composition with you know, color like Alex Webb or Pinkasov, or, you know, you name the great color photographer. But when I do black and white, I only concentrate on the moment, and as I feel like, okay, this is might be the picture, so I took it. So I don't see the color, I don't see the composition, I don't see the mixture, I just see the moment. So yeah, it's simplify everything. So black and white, it works that well for me as a photographer. A second work that I want to share is a longer project. which I did in 2014 to 2015. So it's 2 years period in 3 different trips. So in total, I think I spent 2.5 months in a village called La Malera. It's a fishing village, um, which dated back 600 years ago. So the village was already, existed 600 years ago, more than Indonesia even existed. So it has a tradition of hunting big fishes like dolphins, like sharks, but most importantly, it's they hunt sperm whales. So I went there with a friend, and we spent like 2-3 weeks for each trip. We hang out, we had a drink, we had dinner, we laugh, we talk, we basically observe. And then when things like this happen, we're there and we just photograph. So for me, documentary photography is to invest time. To invest time, and also when the moment is there, when something happened, you are allowed to photograph, right? And without those time invested, you will not be able to have a photograph like this. And it was a fabulous village, and the only problem was the lighting so harsh all the time. You only have like, you can say golden hour where you get like good light, probably around like 7 to 8 o'clock. But after that, it's just like, all shadows, harsh light, from top, where it blackens the face. And I mean, like, I'm a documentary. I mean, I'm a black and white photographer in my project, so that's okay with me, because shadow is, I like shadows, I like highlights, I like midtones. So it works well for me. It simplifies everything. I don't need to see the colors. I just concentrate on being there and photograph what's happening. So I make friends, at drinks. Probably I spend more time drinking and eating with the villagers than even photographing. But without those bonding, without those hanging out, I will not be able to get the shots. So yeah, I mean, like, that's part of being a documentary photographer. This is a portrait of my host, Elias Bidding. So he was 70 years old when I took this photograph in 2015. So he was one of the oldest Lamafa. Lamafa is the harpoonist. So in a boat where they hunt the whales, they have one guy who captains the ships and who has a job to jump and harpoon the whale with a bamboo harpoon. So he's the guy, and he was like showing me this jaw of an orca, so a killer whale that he caught like 3 years back. So he's no longer captain the ship, so he gave it to like his niece, which is like way younger, because although he said he's still strong, but he's no longer have the eyesight to see things clearly. But when I was there, we see 3 hunts, and he was still in the boat. He was still swimming towards the whales, and he was there to participate, and he's he's still a hunter. So it was a fabulous moment that I got from him. This is a mass that held every year before the hunting season, to commemorate all the villagers that fall when they hunt. So it's a hazardous occupation. So when you whale, when you go hunt whales, so it's a bit dangerous. So when you harpoon the whale, it will, how do you say it? When somebody like poke you, it will be angry, it will be annoyed. So you can expect some resistance. And some of the boats are carried down to the bottom of the sea. Some can run away, but some got drowned. And there's one boat that carried away all the way to Australia, because this island, La Malera, is very close to Australia. It's just down south. So it's a very hazardous occupation, and every year they commemorate their families and their colleague who are lost to the sea. And the village is like 99% Catholics. So when I said earlier that the village dates back to 600 years ago, it's because there's a record by the Catholic missionaries that they're there 600 years ago. So it's written under their record. On Sunday they don't hunt whales because they said God, told us to the church, don't hunt whales. After that, you can do that. It's a picture of a boy who trains to be a lamafa, because a lamafa in his village is considered a very, very how do you say, noble position to behold. So every boy, every youngster wants to be one because he's highly respected. You have any questions so far? We can have questions, and I can answer as we go along.
No, not yet. But then I think that your whale hunter project is a very interesting one, because if we looked into, there are a few documentaries also in YouTube. I think they believe that this is the last village, last village that actually still depend on the hunting of these whales to actually survive. So it's a great story, I think, and I think we here in Indonesia is very lucky to have them as part of something that we can still witness,
Yep. It's one of the last. It's one of the last village. Before there was one village in the Philippines, but I think they no longer hunt whales.
Yeah. Okay. And where was this work published from? Maybe.
Oh, it was published in a few magazines and a publication in Europe. But one of the biggest is Mare. It's a German magazine which focus on ocean.
Okay. Thank you. No questions for now. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to continue to this project of mine. It's a bit different than what I do usually as a documentary photographer. When you see my projects, my two previous projects that I showed you earlier, it's more like journalistic, straightforward, and classic photojournalism, or you can say documentary photography. But I also like to photograph free things. I'm like things that I like, and photograph what I feel about what I see. So it's more like a diaristic. It's more like a visual diary that I collected since 2007, and finally I made a book out of it in 2013, and I call it Encounters, because these moments I don't really look for them. It's just like I see it, and I always bring a camera, and I just took it. So it shows what I always remember what I feel when I took it, when I see the pictures. So I'm gonna share a few pictures of this, and it's all taken with most of them are taken with a film camera, mostly like Leica M6. So with the black and white film, Tri-X. I don't take it on assignment for these images, so usually I just like commuting or traveling to some place for an assignment. But after I did my job, I send my pictures to my client, to magazines. I usually still roam around because I still, I get restless all the time if I don't. I don't explore, I don't walk every day. So I explore and I photograph sometimes. Sometimes just like sit down. But every time I see something, I just photograph. And this collection of images, I feel that, there's no real story out of it. But when I see the collection, the pictures that I have over the years, I think, oh, okay, maybe I can really make a story out of it, my own story. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be, journalistic style story. You can make anything. You can make it about your own journey, like, because it's not journalistic. You can do whatever you want, actually. So that was like sorry, that was like kind of freedom, where in journalistic or classical documentary, you are bound to these rules. But with this, you know because you don't name it journalistic, you can do whatever you want. You can make fictional story, and it still works. And it was a hell of a fun to do this book. Oh, this is this one, a picture in Jakarta. It's like it's a ad in a wall. Just happened to see it. All right. So yeah, basically after I showed three of my projects, it's like overview of what I did in my career as a photographer. So mostly is I do black and white for my personal projects. I also do color for my assignments, for like work assignments, for like, okay, you photograph our president Joko Widodo for like meeting the Dutch prime minister. So okay, I have to do it in color. But if I do personal work, uh, projects that I want to do for myself, I always, most of the time, I use black and white. Um, like I said earlier in the beginning of presentation, I was given a chance to test the Leica Q2 monochrome in the beginning of this month. I tested for like a few days, explored Jakarta, and, doing what I usually do, walking endlessly, with, with the hope that I see something. If I don't see something, that's fine, but I always bring a camera, and happens to be like a Q2 monochrome. So I'm gonna share some of the pictures that I took for those 3 days in Jakarta. So this is the first camera that I use, digital camera that produce only black and white images. I never use a straightforward black and white camera before. I always convert it to digital. So when I use it, it's very simple. I like it very much. So I don't have to mingle on Photoshop too much. So most of these images are straight from JPEGs. So I have the raw also, but this is straight from JPEGs, and it's very simple. I just photograph. Sometimes I use the crop, because the Leica Q2 monochrome can crop 28, 50, 35, 75, and it works fine. I mean, like, I always use the 75 most of the time, and it works really fine. So I like it very much. Uh, Very simple camera. Although some of the menu, because Bernard and Jacqueline is giving me a manual book, so sometimes I go, what's how to change this focus and everything. But other than that, it's just like you can just point, and then you get what you want usually with this camera. So because of the pandemic this year, I have to change a lot on how I approach my projects. there's a few projects there's a couple of projects that I put on hold because most of my projects are usually involved with communities and meeting a lot of people. So that's not really advisable in this condition. So I have to put that on hold. So, but I still need to photograph. If I don't photograph, because I consider myself not a career photographer. I photograph for life. So even if I don't do for a job, I need to still photograph to, I mean, like, not to be anxious. I need to photograph. So this year I have to accept that I cannot be too close to other people, which is strange because I like to meet strangers who become my friends in the end. But yeah, but I have to accept that. So it's a kind of transition. So in this project, I photograph. You can see not so close to people, mostly landscape of urban landscape of Jakarta, patterns, buildings. There's some people too, but I don't talk to them. It's still a bit not too close, but not too far. You know, so it's been a challenge for me. But I like the crop on like a Q2 monochrome. So on a single button, I can go through 35, 28, 50, 75. 75 is my favorite because if you do 75, you can still have, I think, 8 megapixels. And that's very, still good enough for me. You can print quite big for that. Because when I had my first camera, it was 6 megapixels. Can you imagine? It has a tiny, back in 2005, it has a tiny LCD. If you use an ASA 1000, the image becomes yellow. You can imagine. So for me to have a crop and then it's still a bit 6 or 8 megapixel for 75 millimeters, I mean, like, it's a luxury. Or maybe I'm old school. Oh, I think this is 75. So it's still sharp. It's still good. I still like it. It's also 75. I
Ron,
mean,
can
like,
I interrupt you? Can I
sure,
interrupt
sure,
you with a
sure.
few
Yeah,
questions here?
sure,
I
sure.
think we have a question asking, how do
Yeah,
you
but
see?
this is the last image. I'm just
Oh, okay,
gonna say about my last image. So
sure, sure.
basically, I photograph all day. For those 3 days, I photograph from usually I got it from 6 a.m. until 7 in the evening. So when I got home, I see the image, and I always at night I always use 20,000 ASA, and it's still clean, and I don't have to. And I asked Bernard and Jacqueline to, okay, can you give me like a spare battery, because with my M usually it just runs out of battery, and with this I shouldn't bring this battery because it's just like it's not running out of battery all the time, so I don't need this battery actually. So one battery is still half full for 1 day. Anyway, I love uh, the night performance of this camera. I like it very much. So you're saying, sorry?
Oh, okay. No, thank you. Yeah, I think this this would be the first compact black and white made by any brands, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, a few
Mhm.
questions here. Thank you for your presentation. I still think your whale story is a very fascinating one. How do you see differently between color and black and white?
How do I see clearly between
Differently.
um
How do you see differently?
I mean, like, for I can only speak for black and white because that's what I think I do better in black and white. I mean, like, I think a decent color, but for black and white I know what to do. Like, for instance, if I photograph this, I should, where I should meter where I should
Mm.
meter my exposure, or I know what that leaves gonna be like in shadows or in midtones, or the tonality. I know how it's gonna look the way I want to. But
Okay.
in color, there's so many parameters, like so many parameters. I'm not really that patient of photographer, so I'm more like kind of quick response, and I'm always on the next hunt for the next picture. So I think that's also why I'm not really good with colors, because I'm very impatient to see too many parameters, you know. And
Too
that's
many
also why
distractions.
sorry, say again.
Too many distractions.
Oh yeah, distraction. I don't see distraction. For some great color photographer, it's a blessing. For me, it's not. So I like to see the moments, not really. Oh, I think the color is not right, or I should. I don't like to wait, so I just like to walk. If
Mm.
if that's a walk for me, I'm just gonna walk. You know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Another question is how all your photos are very sharp. Can you share with us your camera settings? Your favorite settings, maybe?
Um, which you mean the Q monochrome, or I don't think my
Um,
previous projects, some are not some are blurry.
some are blurry. I
Yeah.
think I think your the previous projects that you showed were mostly on film, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
hence you
the
see
the
the difference between the grains and
yeah, the
those
encounters.
that
Yeah,
would
most
take
of the
yeah
films on a
yeah
Tri-X camera. Oh, sorry, on a Tri-X film. So
okay
it's not really that sharp, but it's still, you can still see the details,
yes
because at
yes
that time I don't have access to a drum scanner, which is very expensive, and I think only a few people owns it in Jakarta. And I happen to have a friend in the Jakarta Art Council who has like quite okay scanner, and I'm like, it's good enough, but it's not a drum scanner. So I think to achieve the level of digital, the level of the sharpness of digital of details, you need to have the proper scanner, or you print it and then you scan it.
scan it
So that is why in my film projects, it's not really as sharp as my digital ones.
yes yes yeah okay thank you. There's a question also by from Chilun. I'm interested to hear your opinion slash experience on shooting black and white with an M6 and a Q2 mono.
Say again.
That your experience and your opinion shooting black and white with an M6 and a Q2 monochrome.
Oh yeah, I mean like it's comparable. I mean like the M6 with the black and I always put in black and white film on my M6. Except one time when my friend, okay, photograph my wedding. Here's a two rolls of film, and he bought me a color film, which is not really good. So, but most of the time I photograph Tri-X, and it's the result is black and white. You cannot turn it to color except you really want to in Photoshop. But um, I think it's two different experience with an M6. Um, I'm more patient in a way. I'm still an impatient person. I'm impatient photographer, but you think that okay, I shouldn't be too how do you say it, photograph uh, bad pictures, because it's $10 a roll. And I don't want to waste money for. But
So you're more
with the
careful
Leica
then.
Q, the one, yeah, I was more careful, and
Yeah.
I only have like
You only have 38
50.
exposures.
Yeah, and I only get like 50 rolls for 4 months or 5 months, which is
Okay.
good enough. But I always ration myself for like not more than 2 rolls per day. If
Mm,
not, you're just like wasting money.
mm,
But with the
mm.
Q2 monochrome, You know, just get 128 gigabytes. I'll shoot anything.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to shoot too many pictures also, because then I'll see like thousands of images on my laptop, and I don't want that, because I will spend more time on my laptop than being on the street,
On the street.
which I
Yeah.
don't like. But it's liberating that you don't have to think about, okay, this is money. You just have to change your SD card. Oh, because you know yeah, that also, and also because it's autofocus. Yeah. So you don't focus like what you do with an M, which I strangely I like better, to be
But you have
honest.
the option, right? Even in the Q2,
Yeah, you
you
have
have
the
the
option.
options
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah,
yes, you have
yeah,
the
yeah,
options of shooting manual and autofocus.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that leads to the next question. How do you pick your photos? How do you know that this is the one and will be part of your documentary portfolio?
Um,
How do you pick your photos?
Sometimes you just know it. I mean, like I edit my pictures. Like for instance, I'm just gonna go back to my first image. Um, the way I edit my Diamond Dreams story is like way different than I edit Encounters for my book, because it's
Hmm.
two different approach. One is very classical, one very reportage, one is very free, diaristic, random kind of thing. So uh, basically, when I did a project like this, of course you have like some training that you have to tell a story to the general public, that okay, you need to have a striking photograph, that okay, this is the picture, this is about a boxer, a female boxer, and she's strong, but also she's beautiful. So it has to convey those messages. And it's in the training, when you want to become a journalist, or you want to become a photojournalist. um, they teach you in the field, or sometimes they train you to do that. But when you do encounters, um, I just pick whatever I want, and whatever I feel is right. Sometimes, because when you see, um, there's a quote by a Japanese photographer. Um, Her name is Rinko Kawauchi. She's a color photographer, but she's very exceptional. I like her very much.
What's
I
the
mean, like,
name again?
I like Rinko Kawauchi.
Rinto
Rinko Kawauchi.
Kawaochi. Ochi
Kawauchi.
Ochi. Ochi.
Yeah, Kawauchi. Yeah. So
You
she
want to
said
spell it
something
right?
like this. When I see when I photograph things, and then you just photograph. When you feel something, you just photograph. Whatever you think, whatever you like, you just photograph. She's that kind of photographer. So this is probably same kind of approach when I did encounters. And she said something that, oh yeah, that's
Hmm.
what I really mean. So she said something like, when I did my pictures, when I see it, when I feel something, and that's a picture. If I don't see something, if I don't feel something, then it's just a document.
Hmm.
It's a file, it's a document, it's not a picture. So it's a picture for you if it means something. So when I see like hundreds images that I pull over the years from 2005 randomly on a film camera on a negative, so I'm just like, yeah, this is me just being, rule of third, flower pictures. It doesn't mean a thing. But some pictures, like, why did I take this photograph? Why? When it evokes a question, or it makes you feel something. Okay, maybe I can use this to express my feeling in that book. So maybe there's something that I can explain about how I how I edit my pictures. Or we can do a workshop with Jakarta.
Yeah, no, I mean, for everybody, just to share that our ambassadors, we do conduct workshops. Of course, this was pre-COVID, and Ronnie has done a few with us, helping people put up a story on certain interesting events or happenings that they have done. So these are activities that we do with our ambassadors, and of course we are so much looking forward to be able to do it again. Okay. The next there's a next question asking how much post production is involved in your work, and does it make a big difference?
Um, for the Q2 Monochrom, I didn't do any post work. It's straight from
Oh
JPEGs.
wow.
But for my all other work, um, basically for the digital, it's conversion from color to black and white, which sucks because it involves Photoshop. I mean, like at least 10-15 minutes, and it's already too much time. I can do something else,
Mm,
with that 15 minutes per picture. But um, basically, if it's already black and white, like a negative, like this is negative. I only do like brightness, like highlight. Sometimes I don't like with film with negative. Um, the you can you can save so much information from a negative. So when it's blown out, the sky is blown out, you can tone it down. So most of the time I do that. You see there's a slide of a cloud. It was not there when I
oh,
scan it,
okay.
so I have to tone it down. So you can still do that with a negative. And now I think with current technology, you can still use it if you shoot raw. But before, no, you cannot do that. With digital 2008, 2007 now.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
Another question is what inspires you to shoot more verticals with Q2 monochrome?
Say again.
What inspires you to shoot more vertical shots?
Oh yeah. I had a question before from my colleague from NGS. He said, "Why are you photographing verticals in Q monochrome?" Like, um, maybe because I don't know. I like verticals now. I like it's more liberating because uh, all my life as a photographer, I'm trained to photograph, horizontal, 35 millimeter. When I see a picture, oh, the editor of the New York Times will love this. 3 by 2. Okay, a little bit of cloud here. Decisive moment there. I know what to do. But when the verticals, the whole composition, the whole rules is a bit kind of biased because I'm not used to it. And I like that because it's a whole kind of thing. And I don't want to train myself to that. So every time I photograph verticals, it's like, okay, it might work and it might not. So it's like a mystery and I like it. So that's why I keep doing verticals now. You know, before photojournalists um, shoot horizontal because they want to get double spread, meaning if you open a magazine, so it's like two verticals, right? So if you get a double spread, it's a very prestigious thing. Oh, you got a double spread,
Yeah.
congratulations. But after that, they started to shoot verticals, which is like harder because they're not trained to do that.
Mm,
Because of what? Because if you want to make the cover, you have to shoot verticals.
vertical. Yeah.
Like the cover of the Time magazine,
Mm.
the cover of the blah 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 magazine, you have to shoot verticals, and because it pays better also if you get the cover.
That's good. Okay. Okay. I think those are the questions we had. I think perhaps anybody else who would like to unmute themselves and chat with Ronnie, or Ronnie, you want to share your social media uh, your Instagram
Oh
and
yeah, my
all,
social
so
media
that
is
people
here.
can.
It is
There you go.
Rony Zakaria. Yeah, you can
Okay,
see
so that
all my works there. There's my website. You can also see what I've been doing, my latest project, my books.
you said you like to
Yep.
use the 75mm crop on Q2 mono. Why? It's a question from Padiki.
I don't know. I like to see details now. Before I just I like to see details now. Maybe because I cannot get closer now, so that's my way to get closer.
Okay. Okay. I think yeah, I think that's the last. Oh, sorry, another one. Interesting images. I do hope Microsoft Jakarta conduct a photo walk with Rony, though we can learn how he sees and visualize the moment. Yeah, we all hope so too. It's been too long since we haven't done a physical workshop, but I think we're all trying to be able to do it as soon as possible. Okay. Thank you again. Please feel free to unmute if you have any questions to Rony. Otherwise, we will end this session. This is second of our third Zoom sessions relating to the Q2 Monochrom, which was launched recently. Next week we'll have Ruben, another ambassador whose main I would say focus is on street photography. So please do join us. I'll be very anxious. Okay. Padiki says 75mm crop due to physical distancing. Okay. In that case, I think we will end the session here. Thank you, Rony. Thank you, everybody, again for your time.
Okay.
Hope to see you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Hope to see you all soon. Have a good evening and stay safe. Thank you. Sorry, if anybody wants a recording, please let the store know. Please, we can share it with you. We'll be more than happy to share it with you. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pak Abad.
Thank you, Rony. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Bu.
Thank you, Bu Emandari. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, Bu Emandari. Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you, Rony. Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Chilu. Thank you.
Thank you, Chilu. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, ciao. Thank you.